Motorshow to bring you the latest cars everyone's talking about. The stars tell us their motoring secrets. You'll need our survival guide if you're going to bring the family, and Back to the Future with the people who tested tomorrow's cars yesterday. Confused? Keep watching. This is the British Motor Show from the NEC, and for once Birmingham is getting to see more prestigious launches than the Queen Mother. You want proof? Just look behind me. The world is watching as a car is born. Now, for many people, this is the first opportunity to see the eagerly awaited Jaguar S-Type. In fact, Jaguar would have you believe that this is the world unveiling, but pulling power knows different.
Because the true unveiling of the new S-Type Jaguar took place several days ago in early autumn here in sunny Nuneaton. Ta-da! Well, we're making a little bit of motoring history. We're the first people in the world outside the Jaguar organisation to get a set of keys to the S-Type. Well, the first thing you have to say is it looks like a Jaguar, no doubt about that. As British as a Balti curry and a pint of lager. Factory in the heart of the Midlands, engines 3-litre V6 and 4-litre V8, prices from 28.5 grand, on sale March 1999. Its biggest rival will be the BMW 5 Series, and if the Germans aren't already worried about the S-Type's arrival, they should be. It's still very early in the game, but the latest score is a convincing Coventry 1, Munich 0.
Now, just catching up on a bit of housework here.
You've missed a bit.
Excuse me, look who I bumped into, Mr. Steve Cram, who I must say I did not recognise with your clothes on.
They all say that, they all say that.
You've got this little sort of sporty number on. No, of course I won't. You're looking dapper in your little smart suit there.
Thank you. You don't look so bad yourself.
Oh, thank you. Now, tell me about the motor show. How's it going so far for you?
Well, to be honest, it's my first time here, and I haven't had too much of a chance to look around, but it does look a bit glamorous, doesn't it? All these bright lights and sleek lines and things. It's very nice.
Tell me, when you're on the road, I know you're fast on the track, but what kind of car are you into? Something more sedate, perhaps?
Yeah, a little bit these days, because I'm getting on a little bit. I know I don't look it. Family man and things, and I live up Northumberland, and I have a four-wheel drive, and it's great fun. Get off the road now and then. Also, it's very versatile. I throw the wife and the kids and the shopping and the bikes and the cat and just put everything in it and go.
Throwing the wife into the car, that's not very pleasant, is it? Well, look, Steve, thank you very much for chatting to us. And from one racy Brit to another.
Oh, corny. Oh.
How rude. You can polish up.
Thank you.
Well, this is certainly fast, and it's definitely British. It's the first Jensen for 25 years. It's called the SV8, and I can tell you that when it goes on sale next year, it'll cost around £40,000. Underneath the bonnet, a 4.8-litre V8 engine kicking out around 325 brake horsepower. That'll give you a 0 to 60 around 5 seconds. How do I know all this? Well, Pulling Power has had exclusive access to the project over the last 12 months. We've been following the car through its first preliminary sketches, clay modelling, and all the way up to the testing of the first prototype just a few days ago. The stunning aluminium body shell was designed, incidentally, by two of the principal designers of the Jaguar S-Type, who's now left to form their own company. Jensen are hoping to make around 600 of these cars a year at their factory in Shropshire, and it's going to create something like 100 new jobs. Now, Jensen are hoping to lure buyers away from their rivals TVR, as well as Porsche and Mercedes, and if they're successful, it could be a new coupe version, and even a new Interceptor.
And going head-to-head with the Jensen is this, the Lee Francis 30-230. A bit of a confusing name. 30 means 3 litre. It's a Vauxhall 3-litre engine under the bonnet. 230 is 230 kilometres an hour, 150 miles per hour. £40,000 car, same price as the Jensen. Built in Coventry, on sale next year. I like it.
If there was a prize for the biggest stand at the show, then Ford would surely win it. This joint is the size of Solihull and it's complete with its own fishing lake. But if there was a prize for the most elusive car of the show, then Ford would win that as well, for this, the Ford Cougar. Back in May, Pulling Power was the first motoring programme to test the new Cougar, and Ford told us then the car would be on sale here in the summer. But have you seen one yet? Neither have we, and we'll probably have to wait till November, because demand in America is so high. So we'll have to be content with this, the Focus. You can't have missed all the hype around it. This is an important car for Ford. Mike Rutherford has been looking for a new angle on the Focus.
So how about this angle? Or 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 this angle? But whatever way you look at it, this is the best looking hatchback in the world.
I thought love was only true in fairy tales, and for someone else, but not for me. Our love was out to get me. That's the way it seemed.
I'll tell you, finding something that's actually wrong with this car is going to be hard work.
Then I saw her face.
But one thing I can criticise is the price. True, the rival Volkswagen Golf isn't cheap, but the Focus is even more expensive, with the bog standard 1.4 CL 5-door costing $12,850 of your hard-earned pounds. This 1.6 weighs in at about 13.5 grand. Ouch! They won't give a figure, you know, the amount of money they've spent developing this car. It's probably of the order of £1 or £2 billion. I do not exaggerate. They're not quoting the figure, but they've put an awful lot of thought into this car, and it works, really. And I can't believe I'm saying this about a car that's a replacement for the Ford Escort, but if you live in the real world, it gives you everything you'd ever need in a motor car. We're in a 1.6-litre car that feels anything but 1.6. This feels like a 2-litre. It sounds more like a sports car than a family saloon, and it's quite incredible. I'm almost lost for words. And that doesn't happen very often, I can tell you. There's an estate version too, and also this, the sporty 3-door. XR3i Essex man with white socks. Please take note. But around town, it's as civilised and well-mannered as your local clergy. More tea, Vicar? As we sit here idling, it's interesting to see that the actual idle speed is only, well, about 750 revs. That means that it's desperately, desperately quiet when stationary, and of course you're saving that little bit of extra fuel. The ride, even on this old cobbled street, is staggeringly good, so it should cope with the crumbling, potholed roads of Britain. You know, it almost hurts me to say all this because I want to find something on this car to balance things up and tell you that it's not good at something, but honestly, it's very difficult to find anything that falls into that category. Ford have obviously put design right at the top of their agenda with the Focus, but it does have one or two weak points. Like the absurdly low apology of a fog light in the wrong position. Illumination at the front end is positively Blackpool-esque, but at the rear, it's a case of spot the reversing light. Now, design is a subjective thing, but 10 out of 10 to Ford for being brave enough to go with a dash that's radically different. And a comfortable interior too, which is nice. It's got key-operated child locks that the sprogs can't fiddle with, a lockable bonnet, and a decent, easily accessible boot. This car's not good, it's brilliant. In fact, I'd be amazed if it doesn't win the 1998 Car of the Year award. But it has a major problem. Unlike some of the competitors, this only has a 1-year warranty. And until Ford take the brave decision and give it 3 years cover, the Focus can't quite qualify as the ultimate hatchback.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Mm. Nigel, you may not know this, but we've actually met before.
Have we talked? God,
Oh, this is embarrassing. No, we go to the same health club.
oh, really?
Yes, and one time you were just going into the sunbed before me. I know, but...
It's not meant to tell people that.
No, but I
This
tell
is
you...
a natural tan.
Don't be embarrassed because you were looking pretty good.
Okay, fine.
That's from me. Now tell me, what does the quintessential Englishman drive?
I.e. me?
That's you.
Okay. I drive a Saab 9.5 Saloon.
Have you ever lost your British Reserve in the car? In any way?
Yes, I have.
Oh, really? When was that?
I blew a kiss to a very pretty girl driving an E-Type Jaguar about 5 years ago.
You blew a kiss. I'm sure there's more to than that. Well, look, enjoy your champagne. Lovely
you.
to chat to you.
Nice chatting to you.
Lovely. See, we are friends. We know each other.
Jim, sunbed.
So, don't tell anyone.
Don't tell anyone.
No. It was a mega bed as well.
I'm feeling quite proud. There's even more reason to be pleased to be British because just look at this. This is built by Lotus in Norfolk. I tell you, they can't build cars like this in Italy and Tokyo and all those places where they're supposed to build those great cars. This is a, well, if you like, a Formula One car for the road. It's stripped out. It's barely legal. It's got no doors. To get in the thing, you've got to actually climb into it. It's about 180 brake horsepower, very, very fast. They've not decided whether they're going to put it into full-scale production yet, but all they're looking for are enough orders.
Fast forward 20 years, and the Ford Focus has become a classic car. For this is the future, a place where cars are powered by the sun, by electricity, and by an old fossil fuel called petrol. Actually, I'm making it up. This isn't the future, and that behind me is the Chrysler Pronto, one of many really exciting concept cars here at Birmingham. In fact, they've dedicated a whole hall just to concept cars. Now, we marvel at their zany designs and their wacky styling, but what are we going to think of them 20 years from now?
When are we?
22nd October, 1998.
Great, we made it.
Why, where's this?
1998 Motorshow, Birmingham NEC.
I'm not another car show. What's the point of time travel if you only use it to look at cars? Can't we go somewhere fun, like the Battle of Hastings or the Great Millennium Dome Fire?
We couldn't get tickets for that. Come on, you'll love it. Wow, the Nissan kicks. Hey, Mitch, have you seen this? Look at these old-fashioned window controls. And one of the first satellite navigation systems to find their way anywhere on the Earth.
What, only on the Earth? God, that's boring.
How can you say that? Look at the 16-inch 5-spoke wheels. Look at the 2,550mm wheelbase. These early models had a turbo diesel engine that could deliver 80 brake horsepower, while at the same time managing 100 kilometres to 3 litres.
What is it about women and cars anyway? I mean, look at it, it's just a big boob extension.
Fantastic, an original C3.
That isn't a C3, it's got 4 wheels and a roof.
Now you're thinking of the C5. This is the Citroen C3. Nifty little concept car, look. Speedo flips up, computer screen flips up, and they were thinking of putting the common rail direct injection engine in.
Yeah, no, I think my dad had a later model of this. Hang on, I've got some home movies of it. Yeah, there you go.
Here they are, all off to see me grandma. She lives somewhere extremely picturesque and remote. Oh, now, look, there's me Auntie Sophie, there's me Uncle Ted, and there's me Mum. Oh, and there's me Dad falling in the canal. Good on your Dad.
And it comes in a handbag.
Ooh.
There you are. Don't say I never give you anything.
I'm going to take this for a spin. Leicester! Come on!
They didn't bring in the voice-activated navigation system until 2010, I'm afraid. You have to use your hands.
Your hands? God, I hate this century.
Wow! A museum of concept cars. Mitch, you must take my picture. We'll retrieve it later. The Chrysler Espresso. Wow, the Honda Dream. The one President Prescott crashed while driving it the third way. Forward, reverse, into a taxi.
I hate retrieving images. That probe spins.
Look at this, Mitch. The original Velsatis. Fantastic. 3-litre V6 transverse engine with quad cam and 24 valves. Do you know they managed 210 brake horsepower back then in the 20th century? Maximum torque, 290 Newton meters.
You know, I can't believe anybody would have made a car with a glass roof before all the pigeons died out.
Well, of course, this one never went into production, but every element you see here appeared later in a different model.
Yes, but this is going to appear later in my fridge.
That's fantastic. Mitch, imagine seeing the first Velsatis ever built. What was your favourite car?
Hello?
Mitch, where are you? Where have you got to? I hope you haven't forgotten I'm coming over at the weekend.
It's for you, it's your mother.
Oh, yes, she's coming to visit us at the weekend. I might have forgotten to mention it.
You never tell me anything.
Men.
Now, to prove the point that concept cars can become showroom realities, here's Chrysler's street-legal hot rod, the Plymouth Prowler. And here's yet more future Chryslers and Jeeps that I've been driving in Motor City, Detroit, where they're now making cars out of recycled pop bottles. Honest. Yep, the world's most adventurous, fun-loving car maker is putting the fizz back into motoring. But now the bad news. This is the one and only Prowler in Britain because it's only on sale in the States.
Well, that's not at the show, but this is the Audi TT, and what a fantastic-looking car it is too. £25,000 aluminium-bodied sports car. Now, if you want one, and I'm sure a lot of you will, you're going to have to be patient because it's sold out until the year 2000. Well, Pulling Power is pulling into the motorway service station for a quick pit stop. But after the break, Birmingham's Lady Mayor and her good-looking German toy boy go out on the town. Never mind the Lotus, where are the loos? The Davies give us a family survival guide to the motor show. And we'll be taking a closer look at the new Rover 75.
Well, the motoring story of the show really is nothing to do with a product. It's to do with a major breakthrough in the way that we're going to be driving cars in future. Reliant, Tamworth-based company, they've just done a deal with the French firm Ligier to import this little car into Britain. Now, you might not be terribly excited about that, but this is the important bit. This car, in France, can be driven by 16-year-olds, and legislation is on its way that will enable 16-year-olds with motorcycle licenses to actually drive cars like this to school, to the youth club, to the swimming baths, or wherever. As you might expect, it's a two-seater, not really any room for four, but there's plenty of luggage space. So I'd suggest that this car is a lot safer for a kid to drive to school or to the youth club or wherever than that dreaded moped.
Have you seen who's in there through the lattice? Don't make it too obvious. Ian McShane, a.k.a. Lovejoy. Come on, he's just sat down to lunch. Let's go and say hello. There we go. Coming through, excuse me, coming in. Just having a quick chat with my friend here. Hello there, Ian McShane. Hello, Sally from Pulling Power.
Hello, Sally.
Great to meet you. Oh, my goodness, we get a kiss as well. I'm coming to join you. Hang on, this is great.
Fish is very good.
Is it? What are you having?
Sea bass with crab ravioli and stir-fried vegetables.
I love it. Isn't it funny to see you? I see you on the TV all the time, and here you are. Oh, that's great, isn't it? Now, tell me this. What kind of car would a rogue like Lovejoy look for here? What kind of car would he drive?
I'd have that Beetle, that new Beetle.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
The new Beetle, this little Hyundai sports car, or the Rolls-Royce Azure.
Oh, Azure, nice name. I thought you wouldn't be into all these modern cars. You'd be more into the classic cars.
I hate antiques.
Is that true?
Absolutely. I like modern furniture, modern cars.
Lovely to meet you.
Nice to see you.
I've had a wee glass of champagne.
all
I'm just
right,
sitting around enjoying.
Thank you.
Great jacket, by the way.
All right,
Right,
darling.
the collar
See you
up.
later.
Look, it looks good. Okay. See you.
Bye-bye.
Well, it's all right for the stars. They can always slope off to the VIP areas to put their feet up and have a nice cup of tea. But what about the rest of us? Over 750,000 people are expected here at the Motor Show. That's an awful lot of cheeseburgers, worn-out shoe leather and missing children. Pulling Power's friends, the Davies from Nottingham, have compiled this family survival guide to the show.
First piece of advice, when you're coming to the Motor Show, make sure you leave early.
Because the traffic's terrible. Come on, kids.
Come on, let's go. Come on.
Car parking, £6. Ouch.
Luckily, the buses seem pretty close to the car park. At least the shuttle bus is free. These tickets for the Motor Show just cost us £30.
The Motor Show is not cheap. Let's go.
But you can beat the queues by making an advance credit card booking. What do you mean, wrong number? The telephone number to call is 0121 767 4010. It cost me around £20 to feed a family of 5, which wasn't too bad.
But what we didn't like was a limited choice of restaurants and also having to queue for a table.
We suggest it might be handy if you bring a packed lunch. Baby changing facilities, great. Let's see what they're like. Now, they weren't bad at all. And in case you've forgotten to bring any nappies, you can buy this nappy kit for just £1.
Nice car.
Daddy, I only got the 3-litre that. Daddy.
Not now, Angelina, not now.
Every parent's dream. A top-of-the-range luxury convertible with all the extras.
And no room for the kids. Bye, kids.
Well, ladies, how should we dress for the motor show? Now, I came like this, but I wish I'd come more like... That's better.
What's really important are these, footwear. You're going to be doing a lot of walking at the motor show. Wear something comfortable. You need a guide to take you around the motor show. This is the official motor show guide at a cost of £4.
Or there's a number of car magazines that contain similar information at half the price. You pick up loads of reading information.
A rucksack's perfect.
Come on, kids.
Mummy, I want to drive a car.
Some magical advice, let the kids take the wheel.
All in all, we've had a great day out.
We've seen some brilliant motor cars.
For families with young children, beware that there's a lot of walking to be done. Do you enjoy it, kids?
Yeah!
That's all there is to it. Bye.
And a perfect car for the Davy family, if I may say so, is this. A new offering from Citroën. It's called the Zara Picasso, French car, named after a Spanish painter. Work that one out. But, I mean, fabulous looking car, I think. It's going to compete head-on with the Renault Scenic. But it's not so much what's going on the outside, it's under the skin that counts. Fabulous diesel engine and all sorts of new technology on this car. Believe it or not, there's even an email system that means that as you're driving along, you can send and receive emails through this voice-activated system. It'll go into production and on sale the year after next.
Ever since Rover got into bed with BMW, we've been waiting to see what they'd come up with. This is the first car out of the traps, the 75, designed to replace both the 600 and the 800 models. But what a tragedy! Rover couldn't have picked a worse time to launch the car, announcing the same week the loss of 2,400 jobs, because BMW bosses say they're losing too much money in the UK. Suddenly, the 75 assumes an even greater significance in Rover's future. Now, when the car goes on sale next March, prices will start about £19,000, although this one here will be about £25,000. The designers have gone for modern motoring with a hint of heritage, although to me it looks as though they got it the other way around. What's it up against? Well, the Audi A4 and the Mercedes C-Class.
And then there is this. Now, you'll have to wait until January 1999 to get your hands on the new Alfa 166. The question is, will it be as good as the Alfa 156, the current car of the year? Well, in a word, no. It ain't bad, though, but with prices as high as £31,000 for the top-flight 3-litre V6, you'd expect it to be a class act, wouldn't you? In the past, you know, you were never quite sure where the pedals were on Alfas. The offset was always a little bit unpredictable. With this car, very, very traditional. You could be sitting at the wheel of a BMW or an Audi. In fact, the interior finish, again, is extremely high quality, almost Germanic. I don't know if that means that it loses some of its personality. In fact, I think I do know. It does lose some of its personality. It's losing its famous Alfa edge. I've always thought that the best sounds brochure that Alfa could ever produce would be an audio tape, a simple cassette that plays the noise of the engine, that wonderful, unique engine note. Now, call me old-fashioned, but I reckon the best place to keep your eyes when you're driving a car is, like, about there, looking forward. Unfortunately, with this hugely complicated optional hi-fi system, you've got to actually stare at a screen to know what you're doing. And where is that screen? Down here, at knee level. In fact, I was so preoccupied with the onboard gramophone system that I found myself spinning off Schumacher style into the gravel trap. When you come to park your car in the carport or the garage or whatever, you'll have two big problems. One, the rear vision. Using this mirror, side mirrors, awful, truly awful. The other thing that I truly hate is that. That's the noise you get when you plonk the thing in reverse. Now, that's not a noise warning people outside, that's just a noise warning you, the driver. OK, your 30-second guide to the Alfa's architecture. At the back here, very 156-like, although I don't like these lights here. Believe it or not, we've got the hazards on here. You can barely see them. Not good. This rear pillar here, this C-pillar, looks almost sort of Citroën-esque, Peugeot-ish. And what's this all about? Chrome door handles, circa British Leyland 1970s. We've got the mirror here that folds in. Press of a button inside, you can bring the mirror in if you've got a tight garage space. And this, I must say, I do like. What am I doing here with the ignition key? No, I'm not going crazy. I'm switching the airbag off. And that's what you do when you're transporting the kids on the front seat. Residuals and quality have given past Alfa owners grief. The question is, will they have similar problems in the future? Now, if you're in the market for an expensive new company car, by all means, put the 166 on your provisional shopping list. Let's get back to the real world, people with their own money. If you really are the sort of person that's got 20 to 30,000 pounds of your own hard-earned cash to spend on that new car, you'd have to be a very, very brave person to invest that money in one of those.
Or you may want to stick your money into one of these, if you've got it. The Mercedes S-Class. OK, it costs around £50,000. But the journos here this week are saying this could be the best car in the world. It's even got this fantastic radar system. Stops you getting too close to the car in front. Nice bit of kit.
But I think it's a bit too big, James. Come on, what about the A-Class? Now, look, it may not have your radar system, but it's nippy. You can fit 5 people in there, park it anywhere. I tell you, if I was an executive type of woman, this is exactly the kind of limo I would like to be chauffeured around in.
Sally, you have really flipped this time. If you can get anybody to swap their chauffeur-driven limo for one of these, I will dive into that stupid tank in the Vauxhall stand over there.
Right, you're on.
OK.
It's a bet. Yes. This is an impossible challenge. I mean, where am I going to find someone who would actually swap their limo for a car shorter than a Nissan Micra? I don't think so. Hi there. This could be your lucky day. Because for one day and one day only, Pooling Power are going to give you the chance to swap this big, fat, greedy beast for that cute, sexy, sassy number.
I don't know about that.
Well, come on, it's a Mercedes.
A Mercedes? Come on, let's go.
Brilliant. Good morning. My Lord Mayor. Here we go. Look, things have changed round a wee bit today. What's happening is you've got no limo, OK? But the good news is you've got this A-Class Mercedes.
Where's the limo?
Well,
where's the limo with all the room in the back?
No more today. But let's try it out and see if it does work for you. Well, who said it was going to be easy? And we had to keep the mayor's dignity intact. Coming in. Right, just a little unbugged up. Now, as the Lord Mayor of Birmingham, you're driving around in the creme de la creme of limos, aren't you? What do the other Lord Mayors drive around in?
There are odd daimlers around. There's a Lord Mayor who used to ride a bike, but he had to be followed in the car with a chain.
While the Lord Mayor is inside the exhibition centre hobnobbing with all the bigwigs, we've got time to give this beautiful baby Merc the quick once-over. But first, let's talk about price. Mercedes ownership now officially begins at £14,500, and that's to put a basic one of these on the road. Now for that you get twin airbags, anti-lock brakes, alarm immobiliser and remote control central locking, electric wing mirrors and windows, and good old power steering. Basically, all your creature comforts. Not bad. However, this is the elegance, and we're talking added luxuries galore. Amongst other things, you get aircon, leather steering wheel, and check this out, very nifty stainless steel door strip, just so you don't forget what you're driving. we're now up to 16 grand and there are still more options. Metallic paint, electric sunroof, and in here, very dinky rear child seats that go back in a jiffy. And of course, the clutchless manual gearbox. We're now looking at a whopping total of £17,810. Phew! Mind you, still cheaper than the mayor's limo. Do you think that driving around in this A-Class Mercedes today, have you felt like the Lord Mayor?
No, not at all. In fact, it was quite difficult to get into the NEC.
How are you finding the car, Roy?
Very smooth, yeah.
And nippy enough for you?
Very nippy, yes.
And while the mayor was busy demolishing buildings, the builders were busy demolishing the A-Class. Is it the kind of thing that you'd expect her to drive up in?
No, I expected a bigger car, actually.
He's not exactly a limousine, is he? He's not a very tall chap, but I don't seem to fit in very well.
Lowest price about 16 grand. What do you reckon?
16,000, this. Never.
Quite cute, you have to say. Oh, yes. For a small car, it's cute.
Just one last test. Put your hats on. Let's see if the car can take it. I think we're all fitting in quite snugly here. And as a result, I think I've won my bet.
What do you mean you've won your bet?
Well, I just said, you see, that I thought that you would much prefer to drive around in a more bijou car. Never mind the Daimler.
Not quite. I'm the Lord Mayor of Birmingham, so I'm going to swap my Daimler for that car over there. Because that's a Birmingham car.
Ah, very clever. The car that always scores an A for class.
So what do you think about this, Sally?
Well, it's a bit unusual for a Lord Mayor, isn't it?
No. It's a Birmingham-made car. It's pure British craftsmanship. It's a wonderful car.
All right, let's take it for a spin. Here we go. I can't believe we actually did it. But hey, I won the bet.
And if you're looking for a more affordable city car, how about this, the new Daihatsu Move. It's longer, wider, much bigger all round than the previous generation model, and importantly, I think, Toyota have taken a 52% stake in little Daihatsu from Osaka. So what you're getting here is a Toyota for Daihatsu prices. And that'll be the Daewoo. It's from South Korea, it's called the Matiz, and it's cheaper than Bet Lynch's perfume. Good spec, 3 years free servicing and warranty, and for what it is, it doesn't look bad either. 6 and a bit grand, and you're in. Here we go Lupo Lou, here we go Lupo La. Or to put that into plain English, this is Volkswagen's Lupo City car, with a loopy price of £8,000 plus. So for that money, why wouldn't you buy a Polo? And there's more. Watch out, the Indians are coming. Tata, the company from Pune, have recruited the Italians to help them design this. Fabulous looking little Super Mini. Doesn't have a name yet. It will go on sale though in India next year, which means good news probably for the UK by the year 2000.
Oh, Quentin Wilson.
Hello.
What are you doing here?
What am I doing here? Well, I think probably celebrating what a wonderful British motor industry we have. I mean, here, the Jaguar stand, the new S-Type. I mean, it's one of those rare occasions when it actually makes you proud to be British, because it is a pant-wettingly gorgeous car.
Well, I've got my waterproof trousers on. We're okay. Listen, lots of celebs around as well. Can I just say?
Not me.
Well, apart from you, Andre Agassi, just done a great interview with him. Have you met him yet?
No.
You've got to grab the interviews while you can, you know, Quentin.
All right.
See you later.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bit of talent here at the Motor Show this year, that's for sure. Now, hang on a minute, is that not the guy? That's UB40, excuse me. It is you, isn't it? That's Astro, I knew it was you. And Lorna!
How are you?
You're my friend,
Nice to
and I
meet
get
you.
pissed as well.
Yes.
Guys, what are you doing here at the Motor Show?
We're here to support the future forests, because obviously, as you know, cars live off CO2s,
that's right,
which is a mission, and trees breathe in the carbon dioxide, and then they let out oxygen, we breathe.
So you're going green here at the Motor Show?
You gotta very green, it's greenhouse effect.
Trees make perfect sense.
So what cars do you two drive as a matter of interest?
Mercedes 500 SL.
Oh, very nice. Bit of a Mark driver. And what about you, Norman?
Very British car, Aston Martin.
Oh, how lovely. Listen, I'll come for a drive with you anytime.
Thank you very much.
I'll take you. Driver. Thank you very much. Listen, good luck with the new album. Hope it does really well. Okay, take care, guys. See you later. Bye. God, friends everywhere.
After the break, I'll be finding out how the latest off-roaders cope with this surprisingly tough four-wheel drive course, which they've built inside the NEC. And if you thought furry dice and air fresheners died alongside the Ford Capri, you're wrong. There must be one of the world's biggest collections of accessories here. Will Sally find the Go Faster stripe she's always wanted? This has been the mother of all makeovers. 5 days ago, this was just another empty hall at the NEC, but then the construction people moved in. And now it's an authentic off-road course, complete with mud, water, boulders, and of course, the latest 4x4s. You need a magnifying glass to spot the body changes, but this is the new Land Rover Discovery. So, what's new? Well, under the bonnet, the diesel version has an all-new 5-cylinder turbocharged engine, which gives you a lot more oomph for your pounds. Power from the V8 petrol engine has also been boosted, and all have 7 forward-facing seats as standard. Prices from £25,000 to £35,000. Magnifying glass is needed again to spot the differences to the familiar Frontera. Vauxhall say they've improved the suspension and steering, and they reckon they've shaved some of the hard edges off this old-timer for a more European feel. Pulling Power gives it a thumbs up for its 3-year warranty, but nul point for street cred at the supermarket. And muscling into this already overcrowded sector comes the Chevrolet Blazer. It has a huge 4.3-litre V6 engine capable of 0 to 60 in 10 seconds. Just the thing for nipping out onto the range to feed the cattle. You get a lot of car for your money too, not much shorter than a Range Rover, and at £22,000, around half the price. What's that? You can't afford 22 grand? Well, don't despair. Here's a four-wheel drive for less than £10,000, and it's no shopping trolley.
As much as I love my kids, there are times.
Please.
There are times when... No, you can't have that. Mom, I really would like to be single again. No more shopping, no more sweets, no more biscuits, no more baked beans, no more beef burgers, no more washing powder, no more chocolate. And no more sensible estate cars. Give me something fashionable and fun like the old Suzuki Jeep. It may have been better at turning heads than corners, but who cares? And the new version of the Suzuki Jeep, the Jimny, will still tempt singles 20-somethings. With this one, however, you don't need to be built like a sumo wrestler to drive it. Power steering, electric windows and electric mirrors are standard. But it's quite a nippy little car. It's 1300 cc's and it's nice to drive. It's an easy car to drive in a straight line. But I wouldn't choose this car if I lived in the country. It doesn't handle the bends very well. It bucks from one to another. It's a short wheelbase, high centre of gravity. That's basically the nature of the thing. It is not a country car. But put this car in the city, and I think you've got a different story. There's power steering, it's small and it's compact, very easy to park, nippy around town. Add to that the F factor, fun and fashion. You've actually got a very good little town car. The styling is chunky but subtle, more Alan Shearer than Arnold Schwarzenegger, and a lot cheaper than both. A smidge under £10,000 on the road. But don't expect a sumptuous interior. It's grey with poor plastic and there's no sunroof. For £10,000 you could buy a Saxo, a Punto or a Fiesta, but you can't work out with one of those. surprisingly good on a tough off-road track like this. It comes fully equipped with a proper low-ratio four-wheel drive system, and so far, it's going everywhere I want it to go. But what's the point? You've got a very pretty, fun town car that your average hairdresser will be delighted to own. Your average hairdresser is never going to go anywhere near an off-road course like this. So there's a real problem in my mind as to quite who they're targeting.
I think there's a problem in Suzuki's mind too. I mean, just listen to this for marketing hype. Suzuki say the Jimny is tough in nature, smart in city.
But what does that really mean? It actually means that if you have the dosh, you can buy yourself all the bolt-on accessories and get yourself a really, really swanky car for that night out on the town. A set of 5 alloy wheels, around about £460. A rather flash front guard, well, that can be yours for about £90. A spare wheel cover, that will cost you £150. Rear spoiler, some side steps, and all in all, you've spent just under £1,000 just to look good.
When you're single, you dress to impress. And why not? Jimny Girl can afford a bit of style, and with a 3-year, 60,000-mile warranty, the car will probably last longer than many other attractions in my life.
No, they're not. They're mine.
Oh, well, just like my youth. The Jimny was good fun while it lasted.
So you've come to the motor show, you've found your dream car. Well, now you need the ultimate accessory to go with it. And you can't go wrong with good old furry dice with a twist of lemon. But if they're too unattractive for you, you can go for the more beautiful option of a Chippendale. He smells too. I wonder if that's before or after his dance routine. I think that's after his dance routine. I have just found this superb stocking filler. Believe it or not, it's a titanium valve from a Formula 1 Ferrari racing car. There are seemingly 40 valves in each car. Yes, it's an original, and it only cost you £95. What a bargain. Think. We're all worried about the security of our cars. Well, how about this new steering lock? Car thief puts hands on this. High-pitched piercing noise. 5 seconds later, 5,900 milliwatt electron pulse. Could be in for a nasty shock.
Awful lot going on the Peugeot stand. Most interesting thing of all, this. This is the Peugeot 20 Heart. It's a convertible, as you can see, that will probably go on sale in about 18 months' time and will be built, more than likely, at the Ryton factory near Coventry here in Great Britain. We've also got an interesting little off-road type vehicle from Peugeot. It's called the Escapade, but it's very confusing because it's actually only a 2-wheel drive vehicle. And then there's a showroom version of the 206, and James Allen's been driving it.
This is one of the 5.3 million cars that got Peugeot out of the soup back in the 1980s. The company was in big trouble when it launched the 205, and yet this was the first car to make small cars seem exciting. Now, 15 years on, we have the 206. The numbers would suggest it's the successor to the 205, and yet in many ways it isn't. So, why add to the confusion by giving it a number? Why not give it a name? Why not call it the Peugeot...
Deborah, Annabelle too. I forget your name.
Peugeot Crustacea, Peugeot Mauratia, Peugeot Frisia, Peugeot Banjax, Peugeot Blancmange. Top marks for design. The 206 looks stylish and it's roomy for a small car. Look, I'm sorry to go on about this name thing, but modern cars have trendy names, don't they?
Oh, Kathy, oh, Allison, oh, Philippa, oh, Sue.
This 1.4 version will set you back just over £10,200 on the road. And for that, you get power steering, electric sunroof, twin airbags with a cut-off if a youngster is in the passenger seat. And how does 42 miles to the gallon sound? Peugeot's slogan is the drive of your life. So, is it? Well, to be honest, you could be sitting in anything, but then that's modern cars for you. A few things I like, well, the dash display is very good. The instruments are clear and easy to read. And the rake of this windscreen is fantastic. It makes you feel like you're driving a much bigger car than you actually are. I also really like this gear lever. It's just the right position, and the gear shift is nice and positive. On the downside, well, the engine's a little bit whiny, as you can hear. The pedal's a little bit flimsy, particularly the throttle pedal. And also the car seems to be deviated very easily by bumps in the road. Peugeot Veloute, Peugeot Smorgasbord, Peugeot Placida, Peugeot Citara. From a design practicality point of view, there are lots of great little touches about the 206. 3 things that really work for me. More cup holders than a drive-in cinema. You see them all the time on American cars, but very rarely in Europe. Why not? And how about this? A storage area under the passenger seat, perfect for books, spare glasses. You could even stash the front of the stereo in here for security. Great thinking. And the seats fold down to make a space about 7 feet long. For the older generation, perfect for those strange-shaped packages from the DIY store. For the younger generation, a place to lay your head down. Peugeot Bedsit, Peugeot Hilton, Peugeot Travelodge, Peugeot... OK, I haven't come up with a name yet. Maybe the people of Vittel in northern France can help me. After all, in this region, people are as passionate about homegrown cars as they are about homegrown wine.
La Passepartout, elle est...
The Peugeot Passepartout, the go-anywhere car. Don't think so.
Je disais la petite mignonne.
The little cutie. Doesn't exactly roll off the tongue. The Peugeot Frog. And that from a Frenchman. The Peugeot Mushroom? No thanks, mate. So, is this car the spiritual heir to the 205? Well, it doesn't exactly take my breath away. Still, I'm sure they're going to sell shed loads of them. That's it. Peugeot Popular. Wait, has that been number 4?
This is an old mate of mine called Steve Lewis, and what he likes doing in his spare time, and in fact when he's working as well, is doodling away, drawing cars. In fact, he does it so often that he's designed this, the new Seat Toledo. Under the skin, it's a Volkswagen or an Audi, if you like, but for Seat price, it's got 3-year warranty. It will go on sale next year for about £14,000. And it's all down to him. He might look like a plumber, but he's one of the world's top car designers. Go on, show him, Steve.
There's almost 1,000 cars here at the Motor Show, and if you haven't got anything specific you want to see, you can always spend your whole day drooling over this Bentley. £250,000, the Continental SC. It's got a 400 brake horsepower turbocharged engine. Now, Bentley already know who they're going to sell this car to. They're going to make 80 of them a year, and the people who are going to buy them are going to be folks who've already got half a dozen cars worth more than £60,000. Nice if you can get it.
Well, yet another one of those mini MPVs is this, the Space Star from Mitsubishi. In fact, they prefer to call it a 5-door hatchback with a little bit more, whatever that means. Prices start from about £11,000, which is quite reasonable. And this is a car that's built in Europe. And I think you'll agree, the bodywork ain't bad. Hey, get your hands off me.
Now then, do you remember the Renault 5 Turbo, the boy racer's favourite? Well, it's been reincarnated in this fantastic Clio 24-valve V6, and the engine, in fact, is right behind your ears. There's a 98% chance this car will go into production. If it does, we'll see it around the beginning of the year 2000, and it'll cost something around £30,000. Max power or what?
Well, it might be the biggest motor show for 90 years, but somehow, well, there was something missing.
I know exactly what you mean, Mike. It's something all motor shows always used to have in the old days. Something Bond films always used to have in the old days.
No, wait a minute. We discussed this.
You know
We're not going to show this.
We are.
Come on, boys. It's not clever. It's not funny. I don't condone any of this. Girls, do not watch.
Roll the tape.
Some girls will, some girls won't. Some girls need a lot of loving and some girls don't. Well, I know I've got the fever, but I don't know why. Some say they will in some girls' mind. So here I am in front of you, not really knowing what to do. My heart is feeling something new. Nervously I turn away from you. Some girls will